Hello everyone, Thersites the Historian here. I'll just like to do a quick update video where I let you know what I'm working on and how you can both follow my work and also support it if you're so inclined. One of the things you can do if you're feeling generous is to become a Patreon supporter. For just $1 a month or more if you're so inclined, you can help me to fund the things I do on this channel and my other projects. I'm always trying to acquire more books, for instance, to do more research, and I also occasionally do update my equipment, so your Patreon support is quite useful in that regard. Not to mention that ad revenue tends to be somewhat unsteady. If you are so generous as to join my Patreon, link is in the description of every video, by the way, there are a few benefits that you can expect. There are a handful of Patreon exclusive videos that you can access if you become a citizen. One of them already exists. It's a video that I made a while back detailing some of the institutions of democratic Athens. Athens is actually my specialty, so that video is of high quality in terms of the content. Another thing that I have never done in full as of yet is to really detail my development both as a historian and as someone who follows politics. How did I get to where I'm at? What are my influences? How do I approach things? Sort of what's going on in my head. Well, I will make 2 separate videos for patrons only, which will cover my historical development and my political development. Since I do videos on those topics, I suppose that is worth talking about, and it's something that you might be curious about, at least I hope. Finally, and most importantly, when it comes to Patreon benefits, I am currently working on an alternative scenario for Alexander's successors. And I've been working on this for a while, and it's finally coming together. I'm hoping that I'll have this done by the end of September. This is going to be a very long video, and effectively I'm going to create an entirely different history of the successors. A lot of people will have very different destinies than what they had historically, and I might even go into some of the long-term unexpected consequences that such an unfolding would have on the broader course of antiquity. So be on the lookout for that. Right now I'm very excited about that project, and I think that it has the potential to be the best video I've made to this point, assuming that the execution equals the conception. But again, we'll see. As Evel Knievel once said, people pay me to make the attempt, they don't pay for the result. The result can never quite be guaranteed. Now let's talk about the channels that I'm operating. The one that you're watching right now, and the one that most people know best, is Thersites the Historian. This is and always will be my primary channel. I'm introducing a new series covering the writings of Hilaire Belloc, and the reason why I chose him is because, one, I happen to have one of his books that I somewhat enjoyed several years back, and I wanted to talk about him. And 2, I discovered that he was a bitter rival of H.G. Wells, who we've covered quite a bit on this channel. So we'll be doing some readings from some of Belloc's writings, including some of the writings that he made against Mr. Wells in particular. They actually had quite a bitter rivalry, and Belloc was a pretty contentious guy, so he's fairly fun for that reason, if for no other. He's also very different from Wells in terms of his outlook. He was a very conservative Catholic who was approximately a contemporary of Wells. Not hard to see why they didn't get along very well. Belloc was angry that Wells included evolution in his history of man. That for him was a bridge too far. The Romans of Renown series, of course, will continue. Right now, I am looking very hard at the people who participated in the Catilinarian conspiracy, most especially Lentulus Sura, or as some people have called him, Legs Lentulus. He's a fascinating dude, and he's got to be up there for most inept Romans, so I'm sure many of you will enjoy that because you really like to see a good dunk fest. I'm also planning to do videos on Constantine Dukas, the early 10th century usurper, and John Kirkawas, the great Byzantine general. Another person I will definitely cover in the near-term future is Metellus Scipio, someone who I see a number of requests for, and whose incompetence is the thing of legend. As far as the Byzantine Emperor series goes, you know that I'm working on it. There are 2 more parts to go on Basil II, and I hope to have both of them out by year's end. One new thing that I plan to introduce as another sort of series is to start doing weekly live streams with Sean Chick. Up to this point, we've done a number of military tier rankings, and while we may yet do a couple more at some point in the future, we've kind of run out of material for that, so we're thinking of doing something new. The new format will be that we talk about a topic for an hour or 2, and then we interact with the chat for a while and call it a night. We're thinking we will probably do these broadcasts on Sunday nights at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, but that may change from time to time depending on our schedules or on how the audience responds. So that is rather flexible. I'm probably going to be out of town this weekend, so this series most likely will not commence until Sunday, September 27th, although there is a possibility that it will begin sooner. If it does start sooner, I will put out an announcement, and you should always be sure to check my post that I put under the community tab. Most of you, I think, see those, and they pop up on your feed if you follow me, but I will post updates there about videos and times I'll be on the air live streaming. In general, I'm trying to do more streaming. Another thing to be on the lookout for is next week on September 24th at 4 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, I will be doing a ranking video of the successors. I've been working with them quite a bit since I've been doing the alternative scenario, and plenty of you have requested that I do a successors tier ranking, so that is exactly what I'm going to do. It will again be on September 24th at 4 o'clock p.m. If you forget, there will be another community post specifically about that, so don't worry. Another topic I plan to tackle in the relatively near future is a short series of videos on the evolution of Roman government. So all of that you can expect in the near future. As some of you know, I have also decided to create a couple of spin-off channels to handle other material. I've never shied away from talking about politics, and history in many ways is just the politics of the past, so I won't shy away from talking about those topics on Thersites the Historian. But when I'm talking purely politics, I think from now on I will reserve that for my Spirit of Thersites channel. This channel used to be called Thersites of Athens, but now I decided to rename it because I think it makes more sense, since in many ways my politics is in the spirit of Thersites, at least as I interpret Thersites. So I guess it all kind of makes sense when you think about it. Over the last couple of weeks, I've released a few new videos on this channel after about 3 or so years of inactivity. I had a DNC analysis for the DNC speakers from 2020. I had 2 videos analyzing the RNC speakers, and I also had a political analysis of Rachel Maddow's Drift, which was flooded by angry Rachel Maddow fans who were not pleased that I was not a hardcore fanboy of Rachel Maddow and Russiagate. So, great stuff, I guess. Fun comment section, too. So, it's worth checking out just for that alone, I would say. One thing I'd really like to do is get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers as quickly as possible. If I reach 1,000 subscribers, when I reach 1,000 subscribers, I will then initiate a series reading George W. Bush's decision points. It is somewhat of a niche request, but I have had several audience members request this repeatedly, so the squeaky wheels have been heard, but you have to do something for me in return, and that is to get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers. Sooner is better. One other upcoming video we'll be doing on this channel will be to talk about third-party options in 2020. If a lot of you are like me, you're probably weighing your options right now, and I will help you figure out who's running and what they stand for. In general, once this channel is fully up and running, which probably won't be until early next year, I want it to focus on 5 things. One is election stuff, which I've already been doing, and that kind of will be dominant this fall because that's in the news and it's rather easy to talk about. Beyond that, though, I want to focus on 4 other things and then shift to focus mostly on those things as time goes on. One is class issues. Class tends to be neglected by most YouTubers, or if they do cover it, it's only one of several things, and there's not a lot of focus. I would like to bring more attention to class issues. Another issue that's near and dear to my heart is accountability, something that people often overlook. It's not the most sexy or flashy issue, but I believe that government accountability is of the utmost importance for a healthy democracy, and I plan on talking about that quite a bit. This will not really come about until next year, but it's still something to potentially be on the lookout for. Another topic near and dear to my heart, but one which fills me more with rage than with, say, love, is corporate malfeasance. There are a lot of corporations in America and abroad which have done and are doing horrendous things, and I want to call them out. This will include corporations ranging from Amazon with all of its labor practices to defense contractors bilking taxpayers so that they can line their own pockets. I will cover these companies and do so ruthlessly. I'd also like to talk about democracy in a broader sense, how democracy works, and what we can do to enhance and protect our democracy. It clearly is not working very well right now. A lot of that has to do with money in politics, and I think this also ties back in with accountability, class issues, and corporate malfeasance. You can see how these things fit together, and if for whatever reason you can't, then you should definitely subscribe to this channel, and I'll explain it to you slowly and clearly. The third channel that I'm working on right now, which as you can see currently does not have publicly available content, is the WTF Gas podcast. WTF Gas, of course, stands for Who the Fuck Gives a Shit. The reason that I named it this is because this will be about topics which are not of world-shattering importance. We won't be talking about the great events which shaped mankind. We won't be talking about the political issues of the day which may shape the future. No, we'll just be having fun. So this will effectively be a spillover channel, but even though the channel's name may imply that it's supposed to be just a fuck-off channel, I actually do have some ideas here. One thing you'll be able to find here are the sort of tangents that I often go on when I record things with Sean. So if you just want to see the entertainment sections and banter, they will be posted here. I will also have special episodes on certain entertainment topics. I've already got one uploaded in private that covers every single 32X game and then tier ranks them all. I'm thinking about doing video game playthroughs with commentary and also doing a similar thing for movies, although what I'll have to do to avoid copyright will be to record audio tracks that you can then sync up with movies on your own. So that might be something to look out for. If I do it about movies of historical value, most likely I will post to both WTF Gas and Thersites the Historian. If it's a political movie, I might post with both Spirit of Thersites and WTF Gas. You get the idea. All of these channels are in a network and they all support one another. If I reach 1,000 subs with WTF Gas, I will begin doing a playthrough of the Final Fantasy VII NES demake. A fascinating game, one that I have not yet found time to play, but if people want me to play it, I certainly will. Another thing I'm thinking about doing, if it will spark your interest in this channel, is that I actually think I'll be the first person ever to read the sequels to Brett Keene's Eternal Undying Love. Yes, there were 2 sequels to that book. So if you really want to see what those books are about, 1, you'll need to help me find book 3 because that one has been out of print for a while. And 2, you will need to get this channel up to 1,000 subscribers. In conclusion, go to Patreon, give me all your money, and make sure that you subscribe to my channels, click the notification bells, and all of that. And again, important things to remember: September 24th, 4 o'clock p.m., the Successors tier ranking video will be happening. On Sunday, September 27th at 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time, this will be the beginning of the live stream series I'm doing with Sean. And yeah, I think that's enough news for now. So until next time, I'm Thersites the Historian, and I hope to continue to see you all around. Also remember to use my Brave browser extension, which you can find in the description. I get bats from that, and apparently I can cash those in, and they have some kind of monetary value. So that's a way to help me, which is free. And Brave is almost as effective in every way as, say, Firefox or Google Chrome. It's actually a little better at filtering out ads, so something to think about. Anyhow, I've taken up enough of your time for now. We'll catch up again later.